Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. I do not want to film this video because I did so bad with my spending in the month of February, and now that I'm stuck indoors for like the majority of the month of March, I'm like, dude, I would have rather saved my money and like online shopped. But that's neither here nor there. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what I purchased throughout the month of February. I couldn't get it out. Throughout the month of February, as well as some items that tempted me throughout the month of February that I said no to. And I may pick up some later, but as of right now, I've said no to these products and I will be sharing them with you today. So I purchased 3 products in the month of February, but one of them was a bit expensive and we could argue unnecessary. Actually, 2 of them were unnecessary, but the first one I did need. This is the Milani Prime and Protect face primer. It's really cool because it's like a moisturizer, a primer, and an SPF all in one. I was watching Emily Noel 83 or 89. I can't remember. I was watching her video and she was talking about how much she loved this and how it kind of took the place of other products in her collection because it did so many things at once. Now, what I will say is that if you have oily skin, this is not going to be your best friend. But if you have normal, dry, or even combo, I think this is good for you. And if you have a deeper skin tone and it's hard for you to find SPF, this does not leave a cast at all. In fact, it's kind of orangey looking whenever you get it out of the packaging. It's not a pure white. It's like a more of an orangish tint. And so you just rub it in. I let it sit for a second. Then I go in with a pore filling primer in my T-zone. Come on, lighting. There we go. I do a pore filling primer in the T-zone, and that is that's my favorite way to like prime my face. It's what I've been wearing for about a month now, and I love it. But when it's raining, I don't use this because I do find that I get a little oily, like, you know, from the humidity in the air, so I don't use it then. But the rest of the time, I love it. Love it, love it. It's so much faster, too, because it's everything in one. Just, I love it. Okay, now we're getting into some things that I really didn't need. This is the CoverGirl Exhibitionist. This is basically a formula dupe for the Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadows that I love. And I've used up 2 of them. The shade that I thought this would be a dupe for is Kitten Karma. And this ended up being much more of a rose gold, whereas that one was more of like a champagne with a little bit of silver in it. Like, I just love that shade. And so this is not a dupe for it in terms of its color. It is for its formula, but not in terms of its color. And on one hand, I regret it because it's messing up my numbers for my like year end. Go play, dog. I'm sorry. The reason why I'm like not being mean to him is because he's been stuck indoors too, and so I don't want to like ignore him whenever he's clearly bored. Back to the video. Anyways, this is not the correct shade that would have been a dupe, and while I don't regret it because I do like this, I regret it because I could have lived without it. Granted, it was only $1.40, but in terms of my year-end empties, this is going to count as its full retail price, which is, let me see real quick. Okay, I paid $1.40 for this. It retails for $14.50, and I realized that I didn't tell you the retail price for the Milani primer, and it retails for $13. So I could have lived without this because I am going to count this as the full $14.50, even though I only paid $1.40 for it. And so that just kind of messed up my year-end total because I could have lived without this. Like, I've worn it twice. You know, didn't necessarily need it. And then here's the thing that we could have argued that I could have lived without, but I'm so happy that I got it that I'm like, yes, I could have lived without it, but I could also live without ice cream, and I still kind of eat that on a daily basis, so it is what it is. This is the Colored Rain Book of Shades. It retails for $42. It's really cool because it has 3 layers to it. And in each layer, you put in your own shadows. So what I did was I took all of my Morphe shadows. I took all of my, what is that brand? They did the Wizardry palette, the Mean Girls palette. Oh gosh, what is that brand? I cannot think of it. Storybook Cosmetics, that's the name of the brand. And I put all of those into this. Oh, and my Pure Cosmetics eyeshadows. Like, basically I condensed about probably 6 or 7 shadow palettes into this one palette. I only kept the shades that I really loved, that I really needed. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I could see myself picking up like another one of these in the future, because I realized that I barely have any pastels, which I love. I barely have any like duochromes. I could just see myself in the future picking up another one of these and filling it up over time. But it's not something, again, that I need, and it's not something that I'm like rushing out to purchase. The main thing for me was I kept looking at like the Morphe palette. Like I had the Jaclyn Hill and I had the James Charles, and I just didn't feel good about using those products because I don't necessarily support those people. And for me, getting it out of that packaging into this has been amazing. Plus, it has helped me not spend as much on other types of palettes because I go looking here and I have dupes. So for example, this shadow today was inspired by all the Valentine's Day palettes that I've been seeing coming out throughout the entire month of February and a little bit of January too. You know, the Natasha Denona Love palette. All, you know, the one that I'm talking about. And the last 2 looks that I've done, I've taken that Love palette that I want really bad, and I've found looks that I love, and I just recreated them using what I've already got. Because the reality is I do have pinks, and I do have purples, and I do have reds, and I don't need to keep going out and purchasing more palettes. So on one hand, this did cost me $42, but on another hand, it is helping me save money because I've got all the shadows that I need right here. So this brings my monthly total to $69.50. My annual budget is $400, and for both months, January and February, I have spent $84.50. I'm so upset. I mean, not really, but kind of, because I could have saved that money. Okay, so I've readjusted because now we're going to get into like the window shopping part of the video. So this is where I talk about what I almost purchased, but I didn't, okay? Or what tempted me, if you will. So the first thing that I've already brought up is the Natasha Denona Love palette. And I'm looking over here. I have to like hold my stuff up on my laptop because I'm filming on my phone. Anyways, the Love palette. Not just the eyeshadow palette tempted me, but the cheek palette. If you know me, you know how much I love a good cheek palette. Like, I actually use the death out of mine. Like, I just love it. So anyways, that really tempted me, was that cheek palette. Also, the Alamar Cosmetics bronzer palettes, which they came out with 3 different shades of. So there's 3 shades in each palette, and then there are 3 versions of the same palette in different depths for all skin tones. I love the brand. You know, they're cruelty-free. I want to say they're vegan, but I can't confirm that. I want to say they're vegan, though. And I have their cheek palette, which I'm obsessed with. I think it's such good quality that I'm dying for this bronzer palette. Like, let me just go get some of my cheek palettes so you'll know what I'm saying when I say I love cheek palettes. Pause for the calls. Okay, so these are just some of my cheek palettes. I've got the Sweet Peach Glow palette, which I have hit like major pan on. I have got the Revolution Pro Sculpt and Glow palette, which also has major pan on it. I have got the Park Avenue Princess by Tarte. I believe this is volume 3. Also major pan on it. Let's see what else. The Menizer Sisters, which again has major pan in it. Like, I love face palettes, and I feel like a lot of people buy them and then don't really use them, but sorry, I was adjusting the camera. I actually do really use my cheek palettes. My favorite palette to travel with is a cheek palette where I just took a bunch of cheek products, like the Too Faced Love Flush blushes. These bronzers are from a Tarte palette. This is Benefit Halo. Like, I took all these and put them together to create my own palette, and this is what I travel with. I use this for my eyes as well as my cheeks, everything. So when I see these cheek palettes, I'm like, yeah, I really want them. Like this, the Natasha Denona Love Glow cheek palette. I know I would use the Alamar Cosmetics, the bronzer palette. That's the one that I think I would use the most. And then Makeup Revolution is coming out with one, which y'all know I'm obsessed with an affordable, like, cheek palette. Like, oh my gosh. And it's so beautiful. I feel like they're trying to dupe the Cover FX palettes. The little duos that they have. I really want it. And I thought to myself, okay, if I use up my Sweet Peach Glow palette, I can pick up the Makeup Revolution palette to be a substitute for this one. But then I thought about it, and I've still got my Manizer Sister palette, which I need to use up. So I guess if I were to use up both of these, I could really actually see myself picking up that that Makeup Revolution palette. And I'm going to be honest, I might need to pick up the Alamar Cosmetics bronzer palette to go with my blush. But that will be something that I pick up in the summer, and we'll see. I'm really trying to fight it, but I'm just letting you know that if it happens, there shall be no judging, because I love and I use a good face palette. Now, anyways, back to those pinky red palettes. There is the Millennial Pink one that has come out by Melt Cosmetics. What in the Rimmel is going on? Does that not look like a Rimmel palette? I swear to me it looks like a Rimmel palette. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the shades look kind of ashy or whatever, but it does not look like a high-end palette to me. That looks like a drugstore palette. Another eyeshadow palette was the ColourPop Sailor Moon. That looks beautiful, but I just don't need it. Jeffree Star came out with his purple palette. That is tacky. That is very tacky. And I'm not hating on the packaging, because I know that's some people's thing. It really is. But for me, I'm definitely more into like the sleek palettes. I want something to look high-end as opposed to more gaudy and showy. So it's just not for me. I don't feel like any of the shades in there are something that I don't have, or if I don't have it, it's because I don't like it. But for the most part, I feel like all those shades I own or something similar, or I just don't use those shades, so I don't need it. Tasha came out with her new Silk Canvas, like the liquid version. So she used to have the putty that you take and put onto your pores. Now there's a liquid version, which I think a lot of people will really like. I can't afford Tasha. Like, she and I are just two different brands of women. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the e.l.f. version when they come out with a dupe. But for now, Tasha is not something that I can afford. And quite frankly, if I were going to spend that much money on a product, I would choose some of her skincare products as opposed to her makeup, because that's where I feel like it'll benefit me the most in the long run. Another pinky purple palette is from P. Louise. What in the Physicians Formula is that? I honest to God thought that was a Physicians Formula palette, and this was when I did not know that Physicians Formula has started testing on animals, so I was really excited. I was like, heck yes, I'm gonna get that palette. That is so cute. And then I was like, oh, this is too expensive. And that's when I realized it was a completely different brand. So she's cute. She ain't come in my collection though, because she high. She real high. Okay, Viseart came out with a blue palette. Too expensive, don't want it, don't use those colors. I'm good. Okay, kind of similar to the Sailor Moon palette, in my opinion, is the Kylie and Stormi palette, which, by the way, that video that they came out with had me in tears. Like, if there were ever a Kylie Cosmetics item that would make me purchase from the brand, it is that palette, because it was such a sweet video. Oh my gosh, guys, the Jaclyn Hill 2 palette. What? Why did I not talk about this? It's beautiful, but like I said earlier, when I purchased this, I went through, and I really do have, for the most part, that palette condensed into this. So I don't necessarily need, that's not really it, this is more of that palette. I don't really need to purchase that one. Plus, I'm so heartbroken that Morphe took their palette, which was vegan, and made it not vegan. I'm not vegan, clearly. I shouldn't say that. That's stereotyping vegans. I do apologize. But I do eat meat, and I use products that are not vegan. But if I were vegan, I would be so hurt if I purchased a palette under the impression that it had no animal-derived products, and then I get it home and I watch the Jen Loves review video and I see now that the formula is no longer vegan. It would truly break my heart, because people who are vegan, I would say 80%, this is a made-up statistic, full disclaimer, but I would say about 80% of them do it for ethical reasons. It's not just health, it's for ethical reasons. And, you know, they truly believe that it's wrong to have those animal-derived products not only in their body, but on their face and their makeup, etc. And so, you know, that's a lifestyle for people, and it is so hurtful it is so hurtful to them if that is their mindset, that's their belief system, that's their philosophy, for them to purchase something with it saying that it's vegan and then come to find out it's not. I mean, I'm truly hurt for vegans who are in this situation. I know at the end of the day, to you and I, it's probably just makeup. It's just makeup. But for someone who this is their lifestyle, this is their belief system, if it's against their ethics to purchase something, and then they purchase something thinking that it goes with their ethics, only to find out that it didn't, and now they have inadvertently killed a little bug to get the red pigment in the eyeshadow. That could really hurt someone, and so I just don't like that. I will not be purchasing this palette. Whether it's Jacqueline's fault, whether she knew that it was vegan or not vegan or whatever, honestly, she's not vegan. She probably didn't think a second thought about it. But, I'm really hurt for the people who didn't know and who were in the situation where they just did something that goes against, like, their values. And even though they did it without knowing, I'm sure that still really bothered some people. And then speaking about something that goes against ethics, y'all, I have never wanted something that is not cruelty free so bad. This freaking Benefit Cosmetics Georgia Peach Blush. First of all, we know I love a good peachy blush, okay? Yes, I do have some, all right? I've got peachy blushes. It's not a matter of needs. It's definitely a matter of wants. I'm wearing a peachy blush today. I wear a peachy blush just about every day because it just goes well with my skin tone. But I know I speak so distinguished. You would never guess that I am from the dirty South. I just know it. I know you all are like, what? You're from the South? We couldn't tell at all. But I am. Shocker. Shocker. I know. And I'm specifically from Georgia, and I want this Georgia Peach blush. That's why I was so in love with the Sweet Peach palette originally, and why I love, like, all things peach inspired. And I'm just like, dang, I can't buy it. It's really quite sad. I know you're like, it ain't that deep, and it's not, but dang, I'm really sad. Oh well, moving on. 3 other things. One is the Jungle Rock, Bretman Rock, Wet n Wild collection, like the collaboration between the two. Wet n Wild collaborated with Bretman Rock, who I'm a huge fan of, by the way. I watch all his videos. I just think he's so cute and so funny. But they're not cruelty free, so that is going to go. And then Morphe came out with a setting spray. I love my Morphe setting spray. They now have a matte version, but again, I'm kind of mad at Morphe, so we're not purchasing that. And then finally, Milani came out with 3 highlighters, 3 lip glosses, and 3 liquid eyeshadows. I'm a big fan of Milani. Love them. They're great. But I don't need these. Now, that peachy highlighter could find its way into my collection over time. But as of right now, I have enough highlighters, so I just don't see myself purchasing it. So that is going to go. I think that is everything. Everything that I'm not going to purchase. Yeah. Makeup Revolution palette, though. I really want it. A-Town Down, baby. Georgia! Y'all cannot take anything I say seriously. Anyways, I want to thank y'all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. It's a bit long, but whatever. We're all stuck indoors anyways. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye.